Hello folks, welcome to another episode here on the channel of my Obi Wan Kenobi clone armor build, and today is a very exciting day where we get to painting. Now, there is going to be a couple of techniques that we're going to be going over as far as just the paints. What we have is kind of the lineup of what we have for painting and whatnot, and I'm using the Rust-Oleum spray paint line just because I like that a little bit better than Krylon. You could definitely use Krylon if you want to, but I like personally Rust-Oleum a little bit better. Now, this is the lineup of what we have here. First off, for every piece of armor that you've got, we're going to be covering it in the flat gray primer. There's numerous different primers out there. There's a white primer, there's a gray primer, there's a red primer even. But just some sort of primer such that the piece will take the paint a little bit better. And that it doesn't peel off later on or anything like that. Next, you want to hit it with your base layer of white. This guy right here. Now, I in particular have a flat white here with Rust-Oleum. You can definitely use satin. That's actually probably more recommended, but you can definitely use the flat white for sure. Next are two different kinds of grays. Now, you can do different kind of gray options out there. I in particular did the satin stone gray, and then with that also the gloss dark gray. What these will allow are different levels of weathering that are going to be present on the armor itself. This is important because, you know, if you want your piece to look shiny, that's completely fine. I like the more weathered look myself. Shows a little bit more use of combat. And given that this is Obi Wan's armor, or his clone armor, basically, I want it to feel as if it's seen some combat and everything. So we're definitely going to do those. Last tool that you're going to need for this process are going to be sanding sponges. Now, of course, I've used this one to bits. I do have more sanding sponges, but you're definitely going to need some. And I'll show you why in a little bit after we've done some layers. Essentially, you want kind of a scratched feel. You want it to look as if it's been used, and kind of buffering the paint a little bit and scratching it up and whatnot kind of gives it a little bit more of a used look. So that's definitely something that you're going to need. It's highly recommended that for all your pieces, especially if they are still in their halves and have the Velcro sections, that you Velcro them together. And, you know, thus create like the shims and everything. All a shim is, and I think I've showed this before, is a piece of plastic that has one side of Velcro on it, and then your armor pieces, take the chest plate for example, has the opposite side of Velcro, and then that's how you sandwich those pieces together, and that's how it stays basically. Highly recommended that it comes together such that it's a nice even paint job throughout all the pieces, and that'll be the same for the chest plate and the back plate, the abdomen section, and the cod pieces specifically. Everything else, of course, is bondoed up and put together. Oh, also the shins will also need to be Velcroed up, as well as the arm guards, the forearm guards in particular. And that's just as easy as putting, for the shin, for example, putting the Velcro in these divot slots here, putting a string of Velcro on the back here, on the opposite side, and closing those shut. That's all that really is needed to do, and then that's ready for paint. With this entire process, if you've not bondoed, or if you've not, let me rephrase, if you've not sanded a whole lot or properly, you may find that there are some areas in which you may need to touch up with Bondo again, and that's completely okay. If you do find those areas, if you find little divots or raised areas and whatnot, I would hit the whole thing still with primer, all the pieces, and then I would just stop there. I would go back over with the Bondo, hit it again, or sand it up, hit it again with a primer, and rinse and repeat until it's smooth as you want. I in particular, this is not a costume that I'm going to be submitting to the 501st, and any small divots I might find, I might just pass off as weathering. And that's something that you can definitely do, and that's where the advantage of weathering comes really into play. I mean, there are definitely pieces on my Havoc armor in which I've not sanded all that well, and I've definitely passed it off as weathering, at least on my own. At least I hope I did. So that is going to be something that you're going to need to look out for. At the end of this lineup is, of course, sealing, and I would actually do that after the entire weathering process, because what we're going to do after this is we're going to be taking some black acrylic. We're also going to be taking some brown acrylic and just dirtying up the armor even more to make it feel like it's seen more territories than just gray areas. But we will get to that after painting all the pieces in this sequence first, and then we'll go from there. What I did for my Havoc armor, my ARC Trooper Havoc armor, is I did the entire paint job, I weathered it all up, and then I sealed the entire thing over that weathering job so everything stayed put. You are going to need to do maintenance on costumes like this. It's just a thing of nature. But the sealing after the weathering process helps kind of cut down on how much paint kind of gets chipped off or removed over time. Well, let's go ahead and get set up. I'm going to get all the pieces ready, and then we're going to get ready to paint.
that's how we end up. Shades of blue and gray. I feel just like an empty bottle. My dreams are on delay. I just wanna climb on top of a hill and throw it all away, away. Take me far away before my mind spins off and I am all derailed, derailed. Just
And that's pretty much the conclusion of the painting video, ladies and gentlemen. I really do hope that everybody is enjoying and learning things on this series. I am definitely having a lot of fun. And this series is almost complete, ladies and gentlemen, with the painting of the armor as well as the details on the helmet. We are pretty much getting very close. All that remains left is to make both the cape and the tunic, do any remaining Velcro and foam inserts, of which we'll cover in the next episode, and it's pretty much coming to a close for this series. I am so excited to don this armor and become the negotiator, and we are gonna have a lot of fun getting to the end of the series. But I hope everybody enjoyed this video. I hope everybody continues to follow, and hopefully you all enjoyed. Please continue, as always, to Hulk smash that like button. Comment in the comment section below if you're new. Do not forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification icon so you can get all the updates on the channel. And as always, everybody, for everybody watching, may the Force be with you always.